Good morning. Thank you all for being here on this special day. It is Patriots Day, the remembrance of 9/11, 2001. I'm sure I myself, like many of you, remember exactly where you were and what you were doing. It's one of those memories similar to John F. Kennedy's assassination, the explosion of the Challenger space shuttle. It's stuck in your brain. So take some time today to think of those who lost their lives 19 years ago. It's just hard to believe. But we're glad you're here, and we're gonna have a good day today. Thank you all, friends, family members, quilters, and most importantly, our honored veterans, for being here at today's ceremony. I'm Dee Dee Salvatierra, and with me today are Linda Lou Harris, and back here Diane Bornia and Cindy Barkey. We are members of the Blue Ridge Quilts of Valor chapter. We are sponsored by the Western North Carolina Quilters Guild. We're honored to be part of this special presentation. The Quilts of Valor awarded today have been lovingly made to honor and comfort these U.S. Armed Services veterans touched by war. To give you a brief history of the Quilts of Valor Foundation, the Quilts of Valor Foundation was founded in November of 2003 by Catherine Roberts of Seaford, Delaware. Catherine was born and raised in California. After a stint in the Peace Corps, she settled in Delaware with her husband Chris, their 4 children, and was working as a nurse. In her words, quote, "It was after 9/11 that things radically changed for me. In late 2003, I started Quilts of Valor as a result of my older son Nat's deployment to Iraq as a gunner on his Humvee. Knowing that she was 10 seconds from panic while her son was deployed, she had a vision of returning warrior struggling with his demons at 2 a.m. She saw him sitting on the side of his bed wrapped in a quilt. That quilt not only comforted him, but warded off his demons. And this is how Quilts of Valor began. The mission is simple: to cover all those wounded warriors, both physically, with physical and psychological wounds, with a handmade quilt. Catherine wanted to make sure that returning veterans were welcomed home with tangible reminders of appreciation and gratitude. Over the years, since its beginning, the mission has expanded to cover all service members and veterans. We appreciate the core values of our organization: treating people with respect, promoting excellence, valuing service over self, and being accountable. To date, over 254,000 quilts have been awarded in the U.S. as well as Afghanistan, Germany, and Iraq. In the U.S. alone, there are over 600 groups like ours, as well as many individuals making quilts to honor and comfort veterans. A Quilt of Valor is the highest civilian honor we can bestow on a veteran. We thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your valor. You are not forgotten. Our first honoree is Flynn Trimnell. Would you step forward? Flynn joined the Marines, the U.S. Marines, in October 1967 and served until June of 1972. The day he turned 18, he was on a plane to Vietnam. He was assigned to the 3rd Reconnaissance Battalion, 26th Marines, as a tunnel rat, a combat engineer on underground search and destroy missions, armed only with a flashlight, a knife, and a pistol. He was promoted to squad leader on reconnaissance missions, collecting information on the enemy. He earned 3 Purple Hearts during his time in Vietnam. You can read more about his story as well as the other veterans featured in Michael Robertson's recently published book, Welcome Home, Brother, Memoirs of Vietnam Veterans. And we have some copies here today. Flynn's quilt. We're going to show your quilt. Here's your quilt. Flynn's quilt was made and presented today by Cindy Barkey. It was quilted by Terry Schuler, and Flynn's wife Jude will wrap it around him. Okay. There we go. Beautiful. Wonderful. We consider the people wrapping as the official huggers. Things have changed. There you go. Thank you so much. And we'll ask you to just step to the side. You can keep that around you if you're comfortable with it. Joe Sansasti. Can you stand, Joe? Joe joined the Marines also at age 18, arriving in Vietnam in December 1967. He was assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines Infantry Battalion, known as the Magnificent Bastards. During the Battle of, and is it Dido? Yeah. During the Battle of Dido, his Marine unit, with less than 1,000 men, fought a division of 6,000 to 10,000 regular North Vietnamese Army soldiers. The Marines prevailed. Joe was shot in the thigh and sprayed with shrapnel. After his recovery, he returned to combat. His quilt is also made by Cindy Barkey and quilted by Terry Schuler. His wife Glenda is here to wrap Joe in his quilt. You want to see your quilt, Joe? You want to turn around and see your quilt?
Oh, yeah. A lot of work went into that.
Okay. Let's turn it the other way. Yeah, there we go. And give him a hug. Give him a good hug. There he goes. Hooray. Again, I encourage you to read the stories of these veterans in Michael's book, Welcome Home, Brother.
The next person to receive a quilt is Howard Walter, better known as Walt. Walt is a Navy veteran serving from 1950 to 1975, including all the years of the Vietnam War. He spent 22 years flying all types of naval aircraft, including single-engine prop planes and jets, multi-engine props and jets, and the turboprop-powered C-130. His service included 4 years in the Antarctic. After retiring from the military, he earned his college degrees in education and earth science, completing 3 years of mechanical engineering at Purdue University, and he also attended the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California. He went on to teach high school technology education and pre-engineering course at Canisius College, and was also employed in the engineering department of an aerospace corporation. He is the author of 4 books. They are all military-themed novels. His quilt was made and presented by Diane Bornia. It was quilted by Rachel Drawn, and it will be wrapped around him by his wife, Dolores. Thank you for your service. Yes. Okay. You're very welcome. For each of you, this quilt brings you a three-part message from our hearts. First, we honor you for your service. We honor you for leaving all that you held dear to stand in harm's way in a time of crisis, protecting us from the effects of war. Second, can somebody help? Thank you. Second, our quilters know that freedom is not free. The cost of our freedom is the dedication of the lives of men and women like you. And this quilt is meant to say thank you for your service and your sacrifice. And finally, this quilt is meant to offer comfort to you. You are forever in all of our thoughts and our hearts. Each quilt of valor is formed by loving hands that join bits of fabric together, one piece at a time. We often work together at our Quilt of Valor sew-in to create these quilts. As we quilt, we talk about our families and friends and how grateful we are to those who will be receiving what we call our quilty hug when we wrap them in a quilt of valor. We believe that as we sew, love, caring, and gratitude flow from our hearts through our hands into the quilts that we make. Thank you again, each of you, for your service.